Steven here, and for today's video I'm going to show you how to do the roll that we do in MovNat. And it's a great movement that connects to other movements, for instance getting up off the ground, but also allows us that movement in terms of the MovNat combatives. So if I get pushed and I start to fall back, I know what to do rather than just tripping and going straight back and hitting my back against the ground. We then go into that roll and we can actually roll out of that and pop right back up and then continue to defend ourselves. So it's just what you think it is, right? And just to show it real quick, it's literally just me rolling like this and then coming back up. Now with this, it is going to work your abs a lot, so we'll use it as a drill to help strengthen the core. And I'm going to give you one more movement on top of that that you can do if you want to progress to something else. But just with that simple movement, like I said, I can connect it at least to getting up, right? So if I go back, I can cross under, reach and pull, and now I'm into this half kneeling position and I can get up from there. So if I've hurt myself and I can't quite get up like this, or I'm struggling with just that position, this is a way that we can actually get up into that position. So it lends itself to other movements, which is really, really awesome. One of the first things that we do with this also is just the fact that we connect to the ground, and it's a great movement. Now I'm on my carpet, obviously I'm not at the gym filming this today because it gets really, really noisy in there, but we'll do it on that. We can do it on the concrete, on the grass. You can do this anywhere as long as you're doing it correctly. If you're not, you're gonna hit your back and it's not gonna feel really well. So one of the first things that we start to work on is, if I have to, I can pull my knees in tight and just hold them here and literally just like rock back and see what happens. If I don't come back up and I just go like this, that's fine. Then I can place down and then I can sit up again however I need to, get up to back to that position. Being able to dissipate force when you hit the ground is a good skill I think everybody needs to know, as long as they are physically capable of it, right? When you're looking at martial arts like jiu-jitsu or something like that, they'll actually do the mat slap because they want to just completely stop their force. So they'll actually slap out, boom, and they'll hit like this because they're trying to create a quicker stop with that. With this, we want to go as rounded as we can, and that's kind of opposite with what we're talking about with a lot of other movements. For instance, a squat or a deadlift. We don't want your back rounded at all, which is called kyphosis. We don't want that rounded back. We actually want you upright, right? We want your spine neutral. So this one my clients struggle with a little bit, just because I've been harping on them with the deadlifts and the squats and the lunges and things like that to keep their spine neutral. And here we actually want that rounded back. So a little bit different. So like I said, if initially you have to hold on whatever way and just kind of create a ball and then roll back, you could start there. The other thing that I'm doing when I come back though is I'm actually thrusting my body forward, and that'll be that next step after that. So if you can actually just get comfortable rolling, and if I come to a stop, come back up and repeat. At a certain point, I'm actually gonna kick my body down, and now I'm gonna have that force there. Eventually I'll let go with the hands, so I'll come back and then I'll be able to come forward. What I'm aiming for is being able to lightly kiss my head to the ground. I don't want to smash my head obviously to the ground. It'll come up, it'll tap, tap, and then I'll come forward. If I have to use my arms, tap, and then thrust my arms forward, that's fine also. With this, I don't want to create a back slap, and people struggle with this going round kyphosis. What I'll usually see is they'll start it and then they'll flatten out and they'll hit, and it's kind of jarring for them. So if you're experiencing that, you just got to go back to step one, which is kind of hold here and create a ball and roll, and just get used to that sensation. Eventually you'll be able to do this for reps, right? I'll come back, I'll tap, I'll come forward. My abs are engaged the whole time because they're the thing that's keeping me here like this, in this position, right? And they'll tire out quick with that. I mean, it's doing a sit-up the whole time, right? So once you get there, I like to do 10 to 20 in terms of like reps, if you want to call them reps, with this. I'll do 10 to 20 and I'll tack it on with my other movements that I'm doing. I like to integrate this even if we're doing strength training or bodybuilding or whatever we're doing style-wise with our training regimen. We include these movements. I think it's really, really important. People aren't familiar with the ground anymore, so once they get there, they're highly uncomfortable and they lend themselves to injuries. because they don't know how to react in certain situations. I can then connect these, like I said, to getting up off the ground. I can also roll back, hopefully have enough space in here. So if I start that rock, right, I can actually flip back over, and now I come here. You can then go into forward rolls. We're not going to cover that today. But I can use that as a way of, if I've tripped, and this is one of the things that I teach my young athletes, if they're on their field and they're running backwards and they're tracking somebody and accidentally trip, I want it to be instinctual that they'll start to round as opposed to putting their hands behind them to brace when they hit that fall. That's usually the way you dislocate your shoulder, actually, is falling backwards and placing that hand down when you shouldn't. So I want them to tuck in really tight, roll, and then be able to pop right back up, okay? So from here, if you do want to progress forward, you can start to use those get-ups, right? I can actually rock back, and I could try to cross under and just practice a get-up, right? And for that, really what I'm doing is as I come back up, one leg crosses under, one leg comes on top, and then I'm back here. Which I have other videos showing this, but this is one of the ways that we can get up from the ground. I reach and pull, and then I'm here. We're just using that roll to create the momentum for it. So you have that. And then the final one that I want to teach you guys today, because there's a lot more, I'm covering like the bare minimum here, is that I can begin to shift into a circle. So that as I come back and I'm up on this upper portion here like that, and I'm doing that light kiss with my head, I'll click my hip and I'll shift it and I'll twist it that way. So I'll come up, I'll shift, and I'll come up. I'll go back, shift. And now I'm using my obliques, lower part of my obliques on that, using my core still, and I'm essentially creating a circle, right? One direction, and then once I get here, I would go the other direction. I'm squeezing or flexing this lower part of my oblique. I'm still hitting this upper part of my obliques, but I'm really focusing on that lower part when I shift my hips. I'm working my hips a little bit. I'm getting into that QL a little bit. There's other factors with this, but you're getting a great ab exercise. And what we'll use that shifting for is same thing we use it in combatives, is that if I'm protecting myself and I need to shift to kick somebody away from me because they're over the top of me trying to stomp on me or whatever they're trying to do. So we get to use these skills for other things, which is really, really awesome. But if I'm doing the circle, I'll go one direction and then the other direction. If I want to push it further, I might do 2 circles in one direction, 2 in the other, or 3. I don't really go more than about 3, 4, or 5, because at that point you're pretty tired from that. But maybe I alternate. I'll do one direction, then the other, then that first direction, and I'll alternate back and forth for X amount of rounds, right? So start with just the rolls, get familiar with the ground movement. Make sure you're tucking, don't go neutral. If you're flapping and you're hitting your ground really, really hard with your back, it means you're trying to hold straight. You're not rounding your back enough with that, okay? And I usually see that also on the coming up. As people come back, they'll flatten and then they'll slam their back down on the ground because they're just trying too hard to come back up as opposed to holding the position. Focus on holding the position. We'll worry about the strength and all of that in that later. So that has been the kind of like the rock or the roll that we do in MovNat. It is transferable to a whole bunch of other movements. And like I said, it's really for building that core strength, but it has a purpose with it also, which is awesome. So if you guys like the video, hit the like button for me. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, maybe something was confusing and it wasn't quite clear, let me know in the comment section below so that I can answer any of those questions, or if I have to shoot another video, I will do that for you as well. So if you guys want to continue to follow along with all of my content, hit the subscribe button for me, and thank you so much for watching.